Welcome to the Power Table. If you are leading your business with a big vision and you're ready for your visibility to match your ambition, you are in the right place. I'm your host, Taylor Smith, founder of the Power Table, serial entrepreneur, and international keynote speaker. I've generated millions in my business through speaking, personal branding, and community building, and I'm here to teach you how to do the same as a founder-led brand. Each week, we dive into the business strategies, identity, and leadership work required to become the woman people recognize, trust, and choose again and again. Because your next level isn't just about what you do, it's about who you become in the process. This is your seat at the table. Power Table! Welcome back to the Power Table podcast. I'm your host, Taylor Smith. And today I want to talk about the one kind of business advice that is genuinely difficult to find. The kind that most business owners have never actually gotten. And I think it's the reason that so many smart, capable founders can do all the right things they think and create all the content and be as consistent as possible and still never see the growth and the numbers change. We're talking about live, in real time, highly contextual, highly personalized feedback on the spot. Not a course, not a 5-step framework, not a slide deck, not theory, not 5 steps, not 5 steps to fix your messaging in a PDF or an AI tool, but someone actually looking at your stuff, your profile, your content, your sales pages, your podcast, your email marketing, your offers, your speaking pitches, and telling you, hey, this is good. This is what we need to fix. Here's what I would change. That is shockingly rare. And it's something that we do inside of our programs, the Power Table, our mastermind, and our leaders program. But more than that, it's just rare in the business coaching, business support, marketing industry. But we're going to change that. And I want to get into why you need that so badly here on the podcast today. Here's how most of us have been taught to learn over the past 5 to 10 years in business. We find a creator or an expert that we know, like, and trust. We follow them. We read their tips. We try to implement them. We listen to their podcasts, maybe buy their courses or their coaching. We pick up the frameworks. We take lots of notes. We attend all the calls. We try to apply what they're teaching. Most of us are overachievers. If you're listening to this, you're probably an oldest daughter, maybe. You're at least an overachiever, and you are someone who probably attempts to follow the checklist. And the information is usually solid. So it's not that I'm knocking the information and the theory and the frameworks, but rather generic advice applied to a specific problem will only take you so far. Knowing that your messaging needs to be clear is not the same as someone saying, your messaging needs to be clear. These are the 3 parts in your messaging that aren't clear. Here's exactly how I would fix it. One of them is theory. One of them is an actual in real time solution and feedback. And they're completely different experiences. Only one of them actually will change things for you in your business, right? And I see this with women all the time in my community. They've done the courses. They've invested in the masterminds. They've paid coaches a lot of money. They understand the concepts. They could teach the concepts themselves in many, many cases. But then when I actually go to look at their speaking topics or their sales pages or their content, I can usually tell in 90 seconds or less what the problem is. And it's almost never the thing that they think it is, but I've spotted it very quickly. And for one person, it might be the messaging is too vague. I just had a woman in our mastermind this week we've been working on. I was like, you're using all this corporate language, but you're trying to speak to entrepreneurs and solopreneurs. Fix this. It doesn't work. For somebody else, it might be that their offer suite and their pricing is really confusing. For somebody else, it's because their speaking topics aren't actually even aligned with what their real zone of genius is. And we need to reposition what it is that they speak on. These are all specific, fixable problems and can be turned around very quickly. But they're invisible if no one's actually looking at your stuff, at your content, at your sales pages, at your marketing. So why is it that this specific type of feedback is so difficult for entrepreneurs to access? Why is it so hard to find? There's a few reasons. One is it's expensive. A real audit from someone qualified to give it inside of a high-level mastermind or coaching program or a done-for-you, done-with-you service is typically going to cost thousands of dollars because it's that one-to-one time. So most entrepreneurs don't have that investment, or the people that they need to provide that audit don't have the time to give it. The second reason is that most online formats are not designed for this, right? A course is designed for you to consume self-paced on your own timeline, which can be beneficial. But then when you run into problems then what? A webinar is for one person to talk to hundreds of people all at one time. Master classes and challenges often work the same way. And none of these formats have the space for one individual to receive personalized, contextualized, specific feedback. They're built to deliver information to you, not to look at your specific needs, your specific goals, and your exact business. And the third reason is that a lot of experts, even people who are really great, are not comfortable delivering feedback live. They've never been trained how to do it, or they're not ready for it. They're not experienced. And I'm not trying to call anyone out, but providing feedback live is a much different skill than putting information into a presentation and pre-recording it or writing step-by-steps in a PDF. Looking at someone's real work on the spot, naming the problem, providing the solution, and providing real actionable outcomes is a completely different and far more advanced skill set. And a lot of people are just not comfortable doing it. It takes a much higher level of leader, somebody who can deliver information clearly, kindly, and succinctly, and a lot of people avoid it. But when you do get this kind of feedback, this live, in real time, personalized feedback, really great things happen. And I know because I've seen it with the women in our mastermind. I've seen it happen live in our conference at Power Table Live. I've seen it with clients, that moment where someone's like, I finally have a breakthrough. I got more specific information from you in this 5, 10, 30 minutes, 1 hour than I got in 5 years before that. And this isn't because the person receiving the feedback is bad at business, they haven't learned enough, they haven't tried hard enough. That's usually not the case at all. But because no one ever said specifically in looking at your exact business, looking at your exact marketing, looking at exactly what you need, here is the context-based solution. And I'll give you an example. I had a woman who's in my community who is so smart, so experienced, generally well positioned. Her brand is niched down. It's clear what she does, who had been struggling to convert visibility and content into real clients. And so her biggest fear was that her offer wasn't strong enough, right? It was just, she just wasn't meant to be doing this. And so she would rebuild her offer suite, rebuild her website, rebrand her social media again and again. And in one conversation, looking through her content with her, giving her a real-time audit, I found that her messaging was solving the wrong problem. She was speaking to a symptom of the problem that her ideal client had already moved past. So she's saying, like, here's the problem that you have, and like, here's the solution, and we can solve this. But they've already solved that. They actually want the more advanced thing. So when she moved into repositioning for that, which came out of one conversation that we had, and she started speaking to that more advanced person in her audience, that insight led her to go from $800 clients to $24,000 months. And she is fully booked up now after that one conversation and after being a part of our mastermind. That is what real feedback does. It collapses time and it allows you to get context specific, not trying to learn theories and apply them, which is what a lot of business coaching is. It's honestly no different than taking a college class, as you learn theories and then you're supposed to go out and apply it on your own. When you need real-time feedback of what actually makes sense for your business at this exact point. Information is abundant right now, especially thanks to AI. Even good information, right? Tactical advice, really smart content. I think we actually have an abundance of really intelligent content right now online. There's more of it than you could possibly get through in an entire lifetime. That's not what's blocking entrepreneurs from success anymore. It's not a lack of knowledge. It's not a failure to understand the how to do something. The block that stands between you and the success you want, you and the revenue goals, you and the goal is application, and specifically getting the right experts' insights applied to your specific situation, your specific brands, your words, your clients, your offers. And the fastest path to getting that application is not more content, not more courses, not more slide decks and PDFs and free resources. It's someone actually looking at your stuff. And if you have access to that in a mastermind, in a coaching relationship, start leaning on that more heavily. Start showing up and bringing your stuff to audit, asking for feedback on your content, asking for feedback on your sales process. Use that opportunity that you have if you have it. Put your work in front of people and let people pour back into you in context specific applications. But if you don't have access to that, start looking for formats that offer it. Look for that real interaction, look for real time responses, look for people who are willing to look at your things and not just regurgitate theory over and over again. And if you listen to this and you were like, yeah, that is what I'm missing, and I don't know where to find it, I have a solution for you. Someone who will actually look at your stuff and be like, here's where you're doing great. Here's where we have opportunities to solve some problems and fix this. Maybe it's your podcast SEO. Maybe you're trying to grow your podcast and you're not getting traction. Maybe it's your email subject lines and your email marketing. Maybe it's your speaking pitches or your sales or your marketing and messaging. And you just wish you had someone to tell you how to fix it right now. You're going to want to head to the show notes of this episode. Our virtual conference, Stand Out and Sell Out, is August 11th to 13th. It is free for you to register and it's entirely live. And I've brought together an incredible group of experts who are all prepared to do live feedback sessions, live masterminding, live panels, and live audits on all of these types of topics so that you can grow your visibility, increase your conversion, create demand, and sell more successfully in your business with context-specific real-time support. I'm very excited to bring this fully live format to Stand Out and Sell Out. We've always done some live components that in the past, but this year the entire experience is live because it really is the feedback that so many entrepreneurs need and they so rarely get. You don't have to keep guessing at what will solve the problem. You can come to Stand Out and Sell Out and someone will actually tell you what to do to solve the problem. Grab your ticket below in the show notes. I'm really excited. I will see you there.